doing his 10th speech. His 10th speech is very important because with that he finishes his manual. The speech title is going to be one person at a time, but before we hear it, I need to know what are the objectives of this speech. Magdalena, who also spontaneously agreed to be an evaluator, please go ahead.
I will be very happy to evaluate Prateek. And Prateek, your objectives are to inspire the audience by appealing to noble motives and challenging the audience to achieve a higher level of beliefs or achievement. Second objective, appeal to audience needs and emotions using stories, anecdotes, and quotes to add drama. The third objective is to avoid using notes. You have 8 to 10 minutes.
Prateek, one person on the stage. One person on a time, sorry, Prateek.
As usual, I was sitting in a train, lost in my own little world. As I looked outside at the darkness, I was going home from one of our meetings. It was late. Lost in thought, lost in the darkness outside. And I heard this little voice in my ear. What is wrong with today's world? Why are we seeing disturbing trends where people online, where teenagers are talking about being in depression? What are we doing wrong that young children have been taking antidepressants? Why is there so much of negativity in this world? Why is there so much of hatred? Why is there animosity? Why is there so much unhappiness? What are we doing wrong? And I listened to this voice. And I had a thought that yes, it is true. But then I had another thought, like why is this creepy guy leaning over at me and we're barely low and whispering life advice in my ear? I mean, dude, push the space, man. This was, of course, not true. But it is something I often think about. Madam Toastmaster of the evening, fellow Toastmasters, lovely guests. We live in a very technological age. You can call this the information age or the silicon age, whatever it is. We live in a world which is so fast-paced that we often are very willing to step on someone else's heads to get ahead. People at the workplace taking credit for your work. Or maybe something as simple as someone wanting to get somewhere very quickly and they cut in line or cut across you or, disobey the traffic rules and create road rage. Someone who promises to be there for you for your lifetime just leaves you because of a better career opportunity. What then is wrong with this world that is always chasing after its own happiness regardless of the human cost involved? Imagine all of us chasing after our own individual happiness. Imagine this room filled with balloons. Each balloon has the name of one few written on it. Now what is this little balloon that we are all chasing after? It is your happiness. Now I tell you, here are the balloons. Find your balloon and you will be happy for the rest of your life. And I say, go. Chaos ensues. Everyone charges out of their chair, pushing each other out of the way, just desperately searching for that little balloon, that elusive little balloon which is nowhere to be found, maybe in a room with thousands and thousands of balloons in there. It's a bit like when you all come in here and start rummaging through that little box for your name tags. And that frustration when you can't find it. Life is like that. We become so self-centered that we do not realize that there are others around us who maybe could help us find that balloon. What if these very people found a balloon, saw that it wasn't theirs, and maybe went and gave it to the person to whom it belongs? What if all of us just started picking up a balloon and giving it back to the people to whom it really does belong? At some point, when you help others, someone is bound to find your particular balloon and hand it back to you. There wouldn't be such a cutthroat competition, and maybe then we would have enough for everyone. But alas, today's world doesn't work that way. People say that noble ideals are a thing of the past, and this belief is only cemented with embellished stories from the media, with sensationalized negativity, terrorism, hatred, bullying, you name it. They are all chasing after their own little happiness, more and more money. They tell you your lies. Your governments brainwash you into believing what they want you to believe, so that you will do what they want you to do. And all of us are all caught up in this cutthroat rat race, just willing to do whatever it takes to get ahead. This is perhaps the root cause of all our world's problems today. It is at a dark place that our world stands. And like the scene outside, it is true, covered in darkness. And yet, it is in the darkest night that you can see, for miles on out, the slightest light. It is in fact in the darkest night that the smallest little flame can be seen from a mountain. And it is during hard times, such as riots, worldwide protests, that you see shining examples of humanity. During the riots in Egypt, it is a shining moment for humanity when Christian protesters form a ring around the Muslim protesters so that they can pray without being attacked by the police. It is a shining moment for humanity when the next day the Muslim protesters do the same when the Christians are at Mass. It is a shining moment of humanity when protesters and soldiers hug each other because the soldiers refuse to fire on innocent civilians. And it is in through darkness that we see our own inner lights. But what about our own everyday lives? When we are all burdened by our own problems. Maybe life at home is troubled. Maybe someone is having problems with their partner. Maybe someone has legal issues. Maybe someone has problems at work. Maybe someone has got grave financial problems and you realize that your time is running out. Maybe someone has a crippling disease. Yes, I get it. We all have problems. But what embellishes them even further is your own negativity. Your unwillingness to help someone else find their balloon, and in turn have someone find you yours. Let me tell you a story of what happened to me. I was in my 10th grade, and I was out buying some stationery, and this poor young boy comes in there, and he wants to buy an eraser so he can study. I observed this young man. Clearly he was a bright child, and he wanted an eraser, but he was short by 1 rupee. And 1 rupee is really, really not a lot of money. But obviously, the shopkeeper couldn't sell it to him. So, I looked in my wallet. I had 3 rupees. I was equally poor. But I gave that 1 rupee to the kid. You know what? Take it. He took that rupee. And the joy on his face, the gratitude on his face, as he bought it and said, thank you, that right there was my balloon. Give it to me. Because you see, if there is any reward for kindness, which is instant, it is in fact gratitude. And the joy one feels when you reach out to someone and give them a helping hand, and then when they tell you from the bottom of their heart, thank you. That is a moment of gratitude. It is in fact time for me to in fact express my gratitude to all of you, for all of those people who have helped me become from a blethering idiot when I was giving my first icebreaker to this, an elegant tie-wearing gentleman. Thank you, Renko, my first evaluator. Then Matthias, who is not here with us today. Robert, Jeremy, Khushi. Then Diana for the 8th one. Florian, speech number 7. And speech number 9, Wendy. All of you have helped me become who I am. You have all helped me find my balloon. And all I can hope is that one day maybe I will help you find yours. For that, all of you, thank you. My journey here comes to an end, only for me to begin a new one. Madam Toastmaster.